Have you ever thought, with just $20,000, less than the price of an SUV in America, you could actually own a real home of your own, with a yard, a garden, mountains, and the sea, in a place where mornings are filled with birdsong instead of delivery truck engines? Millions of Americans are tired of the same things: high taxes, high housing costs, high utility bills. Everything is high, except their sense of happiness. But while many continue to struggle at home, a small group has taken a different path. They've found places where, with only $20,000, you can buy back an entire chapter of your life. A villa in the mountains, a seaside house, or a green garden overlooking the valley. This is not a video about travel. This is a video about freedom, about being able to live genuinely, slowly, and meaningfully, in a place where $20,000 can buy the life you once dreamed of. So sit down, relax your shoulders, forget about gas prices and electric bills, and join me as we explore 5 countries, where every house has a story, and every sunrise reminds you that happiness sometimes costs no more than a plane ticket. Watch until the end, because the final country on this list might just be where you'll write the next chapter of your life. Dream it. Pack it. Go. 5. Bulgaria. The countryside maiden of Europe. People call Bulgaria the countryside maiden of Europe, a shy nation nestled between the Balkan Mountains and the Black Sea, where beauty doesn't flaunt itself but seeps quietly into every breath of the land, every glimmer of light on the old red rooftops. Here, with just $20,000, you're not buying a possession. You're buying a way of life, slow, peaceful, and deeply connected with nature. Traveling across this country, you'll find villages tucked gently between meadows, cobblestone paths leading to porches shaded by grapevines, and locals sitting by the window knitting wool in the afternoon sun. In the Yambol or El Hovo regions, an old 2-story brick house with a yard nearly 1,000 square meters wide costs only around $18,000 to $25,000. These homes carry a rustic charm, often with 2 views, one facing golden sunflower fields, the other looking out to distant forested hills as green as velvet. With just a few thousand more dollars for painting, window replacements, and a line of lavender by the gate, you can have your own mini villa in the heart of Europe. In Triavna, the curved red roofs embrace the Rhodope hills, and the air is so pure that by simply opening a window, you can hear the creek murmuring and the church bells softly ringing. Time seems to slow down here. People don't rush. Life isn't noisy, and every morning carries the smell of freshly baked bread drifting through the air. An American named Robert Miller, 64, a former engineer from Ohio, chose to settle in a small village near Veliko Tarnovo. He bought an abandoned house for $19,000 with a garden full of wild apples and cherries. 6 months later, he had repaired the roof, added a porch, painted the walls white, and planted grapevines along the path. "I used to pay $2,000 a month for my apartment in Columbus," he laughed. "But here, $600 gives me everything: wine, friends, and the kind of quiet America no longer has." Now, every morning, he brews his coffee, watches the mist fade over the Yantra River, and says, "It's the first time in my life I've truly lived slowly," without feeling guilty about it. Bulgaria captures hearts not through glamour, but through genuine simplicity. In the Rhodope Mountains, spring brings white plum blossoms across the hillsides. In summer, crickets sing beneath the grass. In autumn, red leaves fall on tiled roofs. And in winter, when snow blankets the gardens, the glow of a fireplace through glass windows makes each home shine like a gem. The air here carries the scent of soil and wine. the rhythm of people who know how to savor every quiet moment in life. One of the things that makes Bulgaria special is the balance between cost and quality of life. With $750, $1,000, or $100 a month, a person can live comfortably. Clean food, fast internet, good health care, and small joys like dining outdoors or visiting the farmer's market every weekend. A meal at a local restaurant costs only $10, a glass of local wine just $2, and a hot black coffee in the morning. Add another $1, and you have the full taste of happiness. Fresh produce is sold directly from gardens: tomatoes, cheese, honey, olive oil, and locals always smile when you ask to buy a few eggs. Here, enough is no longer a luxury. As for healthcare, Bulgaria has a stable public system and a well-developed private sector. Many doctors speak English. Private consultations cost just $20, $40, and international insurance is around $400 per year. Compared to medical bills in the US, that's almost a miracle. Hospitals in Plovdiv and Varna are well equipped, and provincial clinics meet the basic needs of retirees. And culture, that is the priceless gift. In the countryside, people still exchange red and white wool strings called martinitsa at the beginning of March for good luck. They'll invite you to weddings, grape festivals, or autumn harvest fairs. Once you learn to say Dobar den, good morning, you're no longer a stranger. The expat community in Veliko Tarnovo and Plovdiv is growing. They plant vegetables, make wine, learn the local language, and say that in Bulgaria, you don't just live, you belong. Foreigners can buy houses directly, but if you want to purchase land with a garden, you'll need to set up a small company, a simple and legal process. Property taxes are low, usually under 1% per year. Local lawyers are familiar with handling expat transactions. Just make sure all notary and permit papers are in order. Check the electricity, water, and access roads. And if a property seems too cheap, review the title deed and zoning carefully. Bulgaria isn't perfect. Winters can be cold and long, especially in the mountains, so investing in heating is necessary. In remote villages, the internet can be weak or the roads bumpy, and if you don't speak Bulgarian, it takes time to integrate. But once you do, you'll realize that those inconveniences are simply the ticket price to enter a quieter, truer world. Bulgaria isn't a destination for those who want to show off wealth. It's a place for those who want to live genuinely. Here, you can grow vegetables, make your own wine, sit and read by the porch as the sunset falls, and understand that happiness doesn't need luxury. It only needs a home, a garden, and a peaceful evening. With $20,000, you're not just buying a house. You're buying back time, peace, and perhaps yourself. Untitled Chapter 4. Ecuador. Heaven in the Andes. In March 2024, an American couple, James and Carol, appeared on International Living when they proudly shared a photo of their newly purchased home in Vilcabamba, southern Ecuador. A two-story white-painted house surrounded by mango trees with a breathtaking view of the Andes Mountains. They paid a total of $22,000, including the land, fruit trees, and a small stream running through the garden. "We couldn't believe it," James said, "because in Ohio, $22,000 would barely buy a used car. But here, that's the price of a new chapter, one where birds wake you up every morning, and afternoons end with sunsets painting the distant mountain slopes in gold." Ecuador isn't famous for luxury. It's famous for contentment. Nestled between Colombia and Peru, this small country offers everything an American over 50 could wish for in retirement. Mild weather all year round, diverse nature, kind people, low living costs, and a stable healthcare system. From the misty peaks of the Andes to seaside villages where locals still greet each other with a smile, Ecuador is a place where you don't just live, you truly breathe. Mornings in Loja are veiled in mist over tea hills, and the air is so clear you can hear the water striking stones in the stream. In Cotacachi, old wooden houses overlook the emerald-green Quicocha Lake shimmering in sunlight. And Vilcabamba, known as the Valley of Longevity, is where people live healthy lives into their 90s or even 100s. Not because of modern medicine, but because of clean air, a slow rhythm, and fresh food grown from their own gardens. Many Americans have found here a different version of America, kinder, quieter, and unbelievably affordable. A house in the mountains with 2 bedrooms, a small flower garden, and sometimes even a fish pond costs only about $20,000 to $25,000. It could be an adobe home, clay walls and wooden roof, cool in summer and warm in winter, or a simple brick house with all the essentials: electricity, water, internet, and often a mountain or valley view. Many people spend just a few thousand more on light renovations and end up with a small villa in nature, where every morning they brew coffee while watching clouds drift across the hills. The cost of living is enough to leave any American speechless. A couple can live comfortably on $502,000 a month, including food, healthcare, entertainment, and even a housekeeper. A beautiful rental home in the town center costs around $400, while utilities and internet together total about $80. Fresh food is cheap and plentiful. Fish, meat, and vegetables are sold at morning markets, and the locally grown Arabica coffee is so aromatic that you'll never miss Starbucks again. The US dollar is the official currency, meaning no exchange rate risks. Whatever you spend in the States, your purchasing power here is worth several times more. As for healthcare, Ecuador's system is quite impressive for a South American nation. Hospitals in Cuenca, Quito, and Loja meet international standards, with many doctors trained in the US or Europe who speak fluent English. A private consultation costs only $30–40, and full coverage insurance, including inpatient treatment, starts at just $100 a month. The government also offers the IESS program, which allows foreigners to pay a small monthly fee to access public healthcare services like local citizens. For seniors with chronic conditions, this is one of the world's most affordable and reliable healthcare systems. Ecuador's climate is almost unbelievable. Year-round temperatures stay around 20–24 degrees, 68–75 degrees, with no freezing winters or scorching summers. In Vilcabamba, locals call it forever spring. You don't need air conditioning, you don't need heating. Just open the window and let the breeze carry the scent of orange blossoms into your home. Of course, even paradise has its imperfections. Some rural areas remain poor, with bumpy dirt roads, and not everyone speaks English. The coastal regions can be humid, while the highlands' elevation may take newcomers some time to adjust to. But when you ask those who have lived here for years, they simply smile and say, "Those things are nothing compared to waking up each morning to see the Andes covered in mist, knowing you're truly living debt-free and unhurried." Ecuador is a place for those tired of the grind to feel human again. Here, you can grow your own vegetables, write a book, learn to play music, or simply sit and watch the clouds drift across your garden. It's a small country where $20,000 doesn't just buy you a roof, it buys you a new life, peaceful, steady, and full of kindness. And if you're wondering, could I really live like that? Try imagining this. One morning, you open your window, look down at a misty valley, and hear birds calling your name. Perhaps in that moment, You'll understand why so many have chosen Ecuador as the second chapter of their lives. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if this journey touched you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you won't miss the next adventures to the places where dreams are worth only $20,000. 3 Ponte, Mexico. The warm heart of Latin America. People often joke that if you toss a coin onto the map of Latin America, there's a good chance it'll land on Mexico, because this country is so vast, so vibrant, and so irresistibly lovable. And the best part? With just around $20,000, you can buy yourself a charming little house, with a yard, sunlight, and even the cheerful sound of roosters crowing on time every morning, free of charge. Don't believe it? Try leaving pricey Cancun and head inland, where life slows down and housing prices still belong to the pre-smartphone era. In towns like Guanajuato, Puebla, or Oaxaca, you can still find red brick houses with white walls and old tile roofs so romantic they could break your heart, selling for just $18,000, $25,000. Many American retirees have done one simple thing. Flew here, rented a car, drove along the winding roads between the hills, and stopped the moment they found the wooden door they wanted to open every morning. In Guanajuato, Mexico's most colorful city, houses stack along the hillsides like an artist's palette. You can own a small home overlooking the valley, just minutes from the center, for under $20,000, as long as you don't mind repainting and climbing a few steps. Puebla, the city of churches and corn tortillas, is famous for its colonial chic style. Yellow walls, blue doors, and purple flowers climbing around the balcony. Living here feels like being inside a postcard. Except this time, you don't have to pay New York prices anymore. Mexico makes people smile because everything here feels generous. The locals' smiles, the size of the meals, and even the way they set their prices. A full meal with tacos, soup, and coffee costs around $5, and an ice-cold margarita in the afternoon is probably the cheapest antidepressant on the planet. With $1,200 a month, you can live comfortably, rent, food, internet, health insurance, and still have enough left to buy a new hammock to lie in and watch the sky. Mexicans have their own unique life philosophy, tranquilo, meaning calm, nothing to rush for. When you come here, you're forced to learn how to slow down. Eat slowly, speak slowly, age slowly. They'll offer you tequila, ask about your family, and laugh heartily when you still worry about tax bills in the US, while they're out here dancing salsa in their courtyard. An American man named Tom, 67, once shared that he had only planned to visit Mexico for 1 month, just to forget the electric bill back in Phoenix. But 8 years later, he's still there, living in a 2-story house in Oaxaca that he bought for $19,800. I fixed the roof, painted it yellow, and planted a mango tree, he said. Now every morning, I pick mangoes, call my friends in the States and ask them, "How much did you pay for breakfast today?" Then he laughs. I paid $2, and that includes the view. Mexico's healthcare system surprises many Americans with its impressive quality and unbelievably low cost. English-speaking doctors are common, especially in expat-friendly cities like Mérida, San Miguel de Allende, and Puerto Vallarta. A private consultation costs only about $25–40, while private health insurance runs around $400–600 per year. Many hospitals even have an expat coordinator, someone who helps you with all the paperwork, and sometimes even brings you coffee right to your waiting chair. When it comes to visas, Mexico is adorably easygoing. Americans can stay up to 180 days without a visa, and if you want to live here long-term, you simply need to prove a stable retirement income, around $2,500 per month, to apply for permanent residency. Many people choose to test live, 6 months in the US, 6 months in Mexico, and then forget to take their return flight. Of course, even paradise has a few grains of sand. Some regions face safety concerns, so it's important to choose peaceful and secure areas. But if you live in a quiet town where everyone knows your name, Mexico is much gentler than you might imagine. In the end, Mexico is a place where time itself seems to smile. In the morning, you hear roosters crowing. At noon, you eat tacos. In the afternoon, you swing in a hammock with a book. And by sunset, you realize the dream of retirement doesn't have to cost $500,000. If you have $20,000 in your account, what would you choose? A used SUV or a house in Mexico with bougainvillea blooming by the porch? Leave your comment below. 2. Cambodia, the awakening gem of Asia. If there's one place on the map of Southeast Asia that makes Americans rub their eyes in disbelief at housing prices, it's definitely Cambodia. Here, with $20,000, you don't just buy a roof over your head. Sometimes you also buy the smiles of your neighbors and the sound of roosters crowing more accurately than any alarm clock. Imagine a morning in Battambang, a peaceful old city along the Sangkai River. Sunlight filters through the palm trees as you step onto your porch, breathing in the scent of roasted coffee and jasmine, and look at your little home. Red tin roof, yellow walls, a yard with banana and mango trees, all of which you paid less than $19,000 for. Maybe you'll need to repaint a few spots, but honestly, the paint is so cheap here you could invite the whole neighborhood to join in, then end the day with grilled fish, Angkor beer, and a burst of laughter echoing through the evening. Americans choose Cambodia because life here is unbelievably inexpensive, yet full of vitality. In Kampot, the riverside town known as the Provence of Asia, many French-style colonial homes sell for less than the price of a hotel room in Miami. A small 2-story house with a yard, just 10 minutes by motorbike from the center, usually costs around $20,000, $25,000. And in the countryside around Siem Reap, where endless green rice fields stretch behind the majestic Angkor Wat, you can find brick houses with rice field views for the price of a single month's rent in California. Living costs? Only about $800 to $1,000 a month, including food, utilities, internet, and even a few traditional massages each week. A delicious meal on the street, rice, fish, sour soup, and fruit, costs just $2, while a sweet iced coffee is under $1. Healthcare in Cambodia is developing quickly, especially in Phnom Penh, where private hospitals feature international doctors and modern equipment. Many expats choose to combine regular checkups in Thailand or Vietnam, which are only a few hours away. As for visas, it's simple. Americans can easily obtain a 1-year long-term visa and renew it continuously. No need to buy property or make complicated investments. Of course, Cambodia isn't for those seeking perfection. Infrastructure outside major cities is still modest, and sometimes the electricity cuts off, as if reminding you to enjoy a candlelit dinner instead. But it's precisely this simplicity that gives the country its soul, a soul you rarely find in glittering cities. An American man once said after moving to Kampot, "Here, $20,000 bought me a house, but what I really bought was peace of mind, and a 50-cent cup of coffee that makes me feel richer than I ever was before." If you could live comfortably, safely, and happily with a $20,000 home, would you dare to leave the city and start over? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you can join me in exploring the final country, where warm dreams are just one plane ticket away. 1. Serbia, the untouched gem of Europe. If you want to live in the heart of Europe without selling a kidney to pay rent, Serbia is the little secret Europeans are trying to keep to themselves. Here, $20,000 won't even buy you a parking spot in London, but it's enough to own a 2-story house with a yard, an apple garden, and a view of the lush, green Balkan mountains stretching to the horizon. In peaceful regions like Niš, Kragujevac, or Zaječar, old stone and wood houses still sit quietly among the villages. Many have spacious gardens, wells, and deep red tile roofs straight out of a painting, listed for only $15,000 and $25,000. You can hear church bells ring, smell fresh bread drifting through the streets, and if you're lucky, your neighbor will bring over a bottle of homemade rakija to welcome the new American in town. Serbians are friendly, humorous, and love to tell stories. Many speak English, enjoy talking about football and the price of pork. Life here is wonderfully simple. A hearty meal at a local tavern costs around $6. A strong cup of coffee is $1, and a monthly house cleaner costs about $100. With $800 to $1,000 a month, you can live not just comfortably, but generously, even hosting friends for a weekend Balkan BBQ. The climate is pleasant, with 4 true seasons: spring blooming with cherry blossoms, warm summers, golden autumns, and mild winters perfect for strolling in a sweater. Healthcare in Serbia is surprisingly good, especially in Belgrade and Niš, where modern hospitals, English-speaking doctors, and costs are just a fraction of what you'd pay in the US. The retirement visa isn't complicated either. You only need to show a stable income, around $1,000 per month, or proof of home ownership, and you can easily apply for long-term residency and renew it without hassle. Serbia isn't loud or extravagant. It's like a glass of red wine, rustic, deep, and leaving a lasting aftertaste. Here, you're not just buying a house, you're buying tranquility, hospitality, and the feeling of belonging to a land that truly knows how to live slowly. Would you choose Serbia, where $20,000 can turn into an entire peaceful chapter of your life in the heart of Europe? Life doesn't always need luxury. Sometimes all it takes is a small home, a garden, a few kind neighbors, and a sunrise not blocked by concrete buildings, and that's enough. There are still many places in the world where $20,000 can buy not just a house, but peace, freedom, and the time to truly live. And if you believe this dream deserves to be shared, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me in discovering the places where happiness still comes at a reasonable price.